So this question is a diagram question. We're told that we have data sets A and B, that they're summarized in the graphs above. Each data set consists of 12 whole numbers. Which of the following statements must be true? So must be true. Very important. I like that word, right? So not could be true, but must be true. So what do we even care about from these graphs? So answer choice A says data sets A and B have the same mean, but the standard deviation of data set A is greater than the standard deviation of data set B. So what we care about here is mean and standard deviation. How do they compare between the two data sets? Well, it's pretty obvious to me just by looking at it that the means for both are the fives here in the middle, right? The distribution here is pretty equal on both sides of 5 for both data sets. So it makes sense that the mean for each is 5. If that doesn't make so much sense to you, just remember that the mean is just the sum of values divided by the number of values. So for us, our number of values is 12, so that's our denominator. Our sum of values we can get by reading the table here or the chart, and we can see that there are 3 4s, which makes a total of 12 when we find the sum. There are 6 5s, which makes a total of 30 when we add those all up. And there are 3 6s, which is a total of 18, which would add up to 60. We know there are 12 total values, and we get 5. So that confirms that 5 is the mean here. And you can do the same thing with data set B if you'd like, but what you'll find is that the mean here is also 5. Okay? So in terms of standard deviation, what I like to do visually is just to see, well, how far away are the other data points from the mean, right? How far away are those points? So if this is my mean, it looks like I have 4 data points that are less than the mean. And then on this side, I have 4 data points that are higher than the mean, right? So 6 is higher than 5, 7 is higher than 5. So that gives me some sense of the deviation, how these values deviate from the mean. For data set A, I have 3 data points that are higher than the mean, and I have 3 data points that are less than the mean. Okay, so between these two, which one has a greater standard deviation? Well, the one that has more data points going further away from the mean, right? So data set B should have a greater standard deviation because these values, the 4 here that are greater than 5 and the 4 here that are less than 5, deviate from 5 more than only having 3 values that deviate from 5. So that would mean that choice A, which says data set A has a greater standard deviation, is wrong. But choice B, that says, yep, data sets A and B have the same mean, which we already confirmed, but the standard deviation of data set B is greater than the standard deviation of data set A, that will be the correct answer.